Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, July 9th, about 11:10 a.m., and welcome into the early portion of today's video weather discussion, where we are going to have the update on the remnants of Hurricane Beryl that are now moving through the region, already bringing some rainfall, some heavy rainfall to portions of the state already this morning. And we're going to see this system continue to impact the state through the day today, through tonight, and into the first half of Wednesday as well. Now, as we've been discussing over the past couple of days, this system is going to bring rainfall, some heavy rainfall, with a couple inches of rainfall accumulation expected for portions of the state. We're going to see the likelihood for some flooding. We're also going to be dealing with some severe thunderstorm activity being possible, as well as some gusty winds as well. So multiple modes of weather going to be impacting the state here over the next day and a half or so. Like I said, through the first half of Wednesday, with this remnant hurricane moving through the region. Now, this Hurricane Beryl, made landfall in the coastline of Texas, the Gulf Coast of Texas, very early morning hours on Monday, so yesterday, Monday, and it's moved northward, and now it's starting to turn more northeasterly as it has moved from eastern Texas up in through the Arkansas area and is now moving up into southeastern Missouri here late this morning. And the storm system is eventually going to track, this is kind of the direction it's taking here, it's eventually going to track kind of up like this. So right now it's kind of positioned right about here. You could see this big swirl here on the satellite imagery this morning. So this is the track it's taken so far, and that's about the track that it's going to take through the remainder of today and into tomorrow as well. And like I said, right now, it's kind of, you can see that circulation kind of right in here. So that's where our center of circulation, our low pressure, is at this point in time, moving from Arkansas up into Missouri, and eventually he's going to move into southern Illinois here through the day today. But you can see how expansive this cloud shield is with this storm system here, pretty much across a good chunk of the central and eastern United States, seeing some cloud cover. And as we switch over to the radar now, you could really see that swirl here on the radar. You can see how this precipitation develops and keeps swirling in here from the south to the north and then back to the west again. So like I said, our area of circulation is pretty much right in this vicinity right now, very close to the Arkansas-Missouri border, and it is moving off in a northeasterly direction. It's going to kind of move like this through the day today. And with it, oftentimes with these remnant tropical cyclones, the heaviest rainfall is along and north of the track of that remnant circulation, and that's exactly what we're going to be seeing today. So as I said, that circulation right now is kind of right here. It has moved off in a direction like this, and through the day today, it's going to kind of move off like this. So you could see most of the rainfall is along and north of the track of that low pressure, that remnant circulation from the remnant hurricane here. And that's just how it goes with these remnant tropical cyclones. So what happens is when these tropical cyclones move well inland, they start to lose their tropical characteristics and they gain more of a mid-latitude normal storm system characteristic, in which you have an area of low pressure. You usually have somewhat similar to a cold front that develops, and then a warm front here. So what happens is we get all this Gulf moisture that continuously keeps moving off to the north here. It rides up and over that warm front, and we end up getting quite a bit of banding of rainfall and heavy rainfall. And you could actually see some of those bands of heavier rain. There's a band of heavier rain that's been hitting this corridor. You could see another band coming through the St. Louis area, another band back in Missouri. So we get this banding to the rainfall that develops, and in that banding is heavier rainfall, very tropical-like downpours. Because remember, the storm system originated from the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, so it has a lot of tropical moisture with it, not only at the surface, but through the mid and upper levels as well. So it is an efficient rainfall producer. So that's why we're going to be dealing with the likelihood of several inches of rainfall and flooding potential across portions of the state as well. But as you can see here, at this point late this morning, we have rain from just south of Chicago down through much of central and southern Illinois, all seeing some varying varieties of rainfall. Some of this is light, some of it's moderate. In the St. Louis area right now, for example, you're seeing some heavier rainfall right now. And as we move through the day, like I said, the circulation is going to move off towards the northeast, which means the heavier rainfall is going to stay along and north of that track. So northeastern, central parts of southern Illinois, you're going to get in on the heaviest rainfall as we head through the day today into tonight and the first half of Wednesday. Now, another thing we often see with these remnant tropical cyclones is the potential for severe thunderstorm activity on the eastern and southeastern quadrant. So as this low pressure center rides off to the northeast today, that means parts of southern Illinois and surrounding areas will be in that eastern and southeastern quadrant. That's where we usually see some sun come out and poke out through the clouds, which allows for some destabilization to occur. The moisture build, the instability build, the temperatures are usually a little bit warmer on that eastern and southeastern quadrant as well. So as we kind of get that pseudo cold frontal feature that develops and moves in, usually we get an arc or clusters of severe thunderstorms that usually develop on that eastern and southeastern quadrant of these remnant tropical cyclones, and that's what we're expecting to have happen today. So we are going to be also expecting a severe weather threat pretty much down roughly in this corridor today, which includes, as you can see there, portions of southern Illinois, and we're going to get into that in a moment as well. Another thing we're going to be watching for is gusty wind. So as the storm system moves off towards the northeast, it is going to phase. There's actually a disturbance that's going to come out of the Midwest. And as these storm systems phase over our region, it is going to allow this low pressure area to briefly organize and strengthen for a time across the Illinois-Indiana area as we head, especially late today, overnight tonight, and early Wednesday morning. So as that phasing occurs between that Midwest disturbance coming in and our remnant tropical cyclone, as that phasing occurs over our region, we'll see an increase in the upper level winds, especially on the backside of the storm system. So we could see some gusty winds develop across at least the eastern half of the state as we head into the late day today, more so overnight tonight and into early Wednesday morning. And I'm going to show you all of that now here on some of our weather forecast models, just to give you an idea of what we're going to be expecting here. So as we go through the day today, you can see where we're going to be dealing with rainfall across chunks of the state as we head through the day today. And one thing you're going to notice as we head into the afternoon hours today is our area of low pressure comes up here into southern Illinois. Like I said, the heaviest rainfall is usually along and north of the track of that remnant tropical cyclone, and that's going to be the case today. Another thing we're going to be watching for, like I said, is the development of some potentially potent showers and thunderstorms down across southern Illinois, down into Kentucky, maybe Tennessee, southern Indiana. And we're going to be watching for a severe weather threat with some of that activity this afternoon and into this evening as well. You can see this particular model shows some vigorous thunderstorm activity down there. Like I said, could be dealing with a severe thunderstorm threat, southern Illinois near the Ohio River Valley area. And if we do see those severe thunderstorms, damaging winds will be a threat, and we could see some tornadoes tornadoes as well down there with some of that severe weather activity. So continuing on here as we move through the evening and into tonight, you're going to notice what's going to happen here is this low pressure area is going to organize and strengthen just a little bit as it moves from southern Illinois up into central Indiana. You're going to see this rain shield expand just a little bit on the north side, become still fairly heavy at times for some areas. And this low pressure center on most of the weather model guidance is going to max out pretty much right across Indiana here. And that is when we could see those gusty winds take hold on the backside of the storm system here across portions of the eastern half of the state. Maybe seeing wind gusts of 30 to 45 miles per hour, maybe locally a little bit higher than that here while it is raining here across eastern Illinois. And then as we head into Wednesday morning here, storm system's eventually slowly going to track across Indiana here, as you can see. Still getting some rain across eastern portions of the state here, even as we head into mid-morning on Wednesday. But as we head into late morning and then during the middle of the day, that remnant tropical cyclone moves off towards the Detroit area, and the associated rainfall pulls away as well. So that'll be the gist of that. We could see some showers and thunderstorms behind the remnant tropical cyclone later in the day, Wednesday and into Wednesday night, but that really wouldn't be totally associated with that remnant tropical cyclone itself. So heavy rainfall, as I said, looking likely across portions of the state, and also going to be dealing with those gusty winds. So here's what's going to happen. As we head through the day today, we are going to see some winds start to increase here across portions of the state. And eventually, as we head into very late today, overnight tonight, and early on the day on Wednesday, you can see what happens here. So this cyclone is going to organize and strengthen just a little bit over Indiana. And as it does so, there will be a response through the atmosphere, and we will see winds increase here across northeastern, east central, down into parts of southern Illinois. Like I said, we'll be seeing wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 45 miles per hour, potentially locally over 45 miles per hour. I wouldn't rule out that across eastern Illinois here. So some gusty winds late today, overnight tonight, into early Wednesday across northeastern, east central, southern Illinois. And then you can see as that storm system weakens and pulls to the east, those winds diminish and pull to the east of the state. So in terms of rainfall, this is just one particular model that I'm showing you here. But as you can see here, this particular weather forecast model pretty much cutting Chicago in half. So the southern half of the Chicago area down through parts of central Illinois, down into Missouri, and then a good chunk of southern Illinois. That is where the heaviest rainfall ends up occurring. And you can see there's a corridor of very heavy rainfall from St. Louis up through the Bloomington, Kankakee areas here. That is where the absolute heaviest rainfall may occur with this storm system. So we're not only going to be dealing with the likelihood of heavy rainfall flooding, but we're also going to have the threat for severe weather activity and gusty winds. And like I said, this remnant tropical cyclone, formerly known as Hurricane Beryl, this is going to be affecting the state pretty much from now. We're already seeing some of that rain shower activity across the state, and it will then continue all the way through the first portion of the day on Wednesday. So as we flip over here to our weather forecast graphics, as you can see here, the first thing we're going to talk about is heavy rainfall and flooding potential. And you can see here, we are going to be dealing with the potential for heavy rainfall and flooding across a decent portion of the state. A pretty decent portion of the state will have the opportunity to see some heavy rainfall and flooding with this storm system. Anywhere from the Chicago metro area all the way down through much of central and southern Illinois. That is where we are expecting to see the heavy rainfall with the storm system. Anywhere from pretty much between 1 to 4 inches of rain are going to be expected across this corridor. So like I said, between 1 to 4 inches of rain expected across this corridor. Locally, we could see local totals over 5 inches not being out of the question. So as you can see here, we are expecting, flooding concerns with the several inches of heavy rainfall that are going to be expected across this corridor. And you can see from the St. Louis area up through, so St. Louis is right here. That's this, let me change colors here. St. Louis area is right here up through near Springfield. We got Decatur and Lincoln down here, Bloomington here, Champaign, Danville, Effingham. We got Kankakee up here. So a lot of bigger towns and cities will be impacted by the heaviest corridor of rainfall, which is in this red color here. That's where the highest rainfall totals will be and the best chance of seeing some flooding across those areas as well. Now, the other thing we're going to be watching for is severe weather potential. And as you can see, we continue to have the risk or the threat for severe thunderstorms today across portions of southern Illinois. So as you can see, we have a level 1 to level 2 severe thunderstorm risk in place across portions of southern Illinois, pretty much from now all the way through late this evening. And that is going to be for the potential of isolated to widely scattered severe thunderstorms. Once again, that's pretty much from now all the way through late this evening. And if we do see those severe thunderstorms, damaging winds will be a threat, as well as a few tornadoes being possible. And you'll notice this little area, this is what we call hatching. You see this area with the little dotted lines out there, that's what we call hatching. So if you look down at the legend here, that means we could see significant severe weather. And if you read over here across that corridor, I would not rule out the potential of maybe seeing a strong tornado out across that corridor. So far southeastern Illinois, down into southern Indiana, and back into Kentucky as well. Damaging winds and a tornado threat with any severe thunderstorm activity today into early tonight. The other thing we've touched on is the potential for some gusty winds as well. As you can see here, pretty much from the southern half of the Chicago metro area through east central and parts of southern Illinois, we are expecting gusty winds across this corridor from later this afternoon through Wednesday morning. We could see wind gusts of 30 to 45 miles per hour, and I wouldn't rule out the chance of seeing localized wind gusts over 45 miles per hour being possible. So multiple modes of weather on the way over the next day and a quarter or so through the first portion of Wednesday. Heavy rainfall, several inches for some areas, flooding concerns, gusty winds, and severe weather threat as well. So with that said, let's check into the video chat here this morning. Deborah checking in. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're doing well today. Norman, around the Woodford County area, you are going to get in on some of that rainfall, and you could potentially see some flooding concerns around your neck of the woods as well there in central Illinois. Sierra checking in from down in Belleville. Yes, you are going to get some heavy rainfall. As you can see, Belleville is kind of down. Let me switch colors here. Belleville is kind of down near the St. Louis area, so you are right in the thick of where the heaviest rainfall accumulation should be, and most definitely could be dealing with some flooding issues down there right in the St. Louis metro area. All right, continuing on here. Also, we have Amanda checking in from the Randolph County area. Yes, you will be getting in on some of this heavy rainfall as well. Could have some flooding issues around your neck of the woods down there in southwestern Illinois. Amy checking in from the Chicago area. As you can see here, the Chicago area is going to kind of be split. So if you kind of split Chicago in half from southwest to northeast, if you're in the southern suburbs like Joliet, down towards southern Cook County, Will County, Kankakee County, down there, that is where the heaviest rainfall will be in the Chicago area. Like I said, if you cut Chicago area in half from southwest to northeast, the southern, far southern areas down towards Gary, Kankakee, Joliet, places like that, you will get in on some of that heavy rainfall and will have some flooding concerns. Whereas if, you're off to the north in northwest, you will probably see some rainfall, but your threat for heavier rainfall and flooding will be much, much lower than the southern half of the area. Jeffrey checking in, flying out of Chicago O'Hare Airport this evening. You could be dealing with some rain by that time, so definitely keep an eye to the travel situation. because whether it's a light rain or a heavy rain, there's always delays out of O'Hare Airport. Cody wondering if the potential strong tornadoes are going to move traditionally, or are the tropical storm's rotation going to influence their movement? So for the severe weather activity for today, let's go back to our severe weather forecast graphic here. For this severe thunderstorm potential, these storms will generally be moving off towards the northeast today. They may tend to curl back to the northeast, a little bit further north, but for the most part, the storms today, that severe thunderstorm potential, once that activity develops, they'll generally be moving off in a northeast to northeasterly direction. So a little bit of a curl to them, but not too significantly as it looks at this point in time. Pow checking in from Midlothian. Yes, you're going to be picking up some heavy rainfall, maybe some flooding potential around your area. The same goes for Noah checking in down in Charleston. Yes, you'll be dealing with that heavy rainfall and flooding potential out that way as well. Jamie checking in from Marion. That's down here in the southern part of the state. You could get some heavy rainfall and you could have severe thunderstorm potential today as well. So kind of both situations right around your area. Ryan checking in from the Blue Island area. It's going to be a very sharp cutoff. Like I said, through the Chicago metro area, there's going to be a pretty sharp cutoff here to lighter rainfall amounts to the north and heavier rainfall amounts to the south. So it's possible you could get a couple of inches of rainfall, and just down the road from you might get far, far less rainfall. So if you're in the Chicago area, it's going to be a very, very sharp cutoff to the heavier rainfall amounts. Like I said, the south side, places like Joliet, Gary, Indiana, down towards Kankakee, you have a better chance of seeing maybe a couple inches of rainfall and flooding concerns. But you head north out towards Waukegan, Elgin, up into McHenry County, places like that, the rainfall will really taper as you head to the north across those areas. So in summary here, we are dealing with the remnants of former Hurricane Beryl moving through the region today into tomorrow, going to bring multiple modes of weather to the state. Heavy rainfall, potentially up to several inches of rainfall, flooding concerns, gusty winds, severe thunderstorm potential, all pretty much from now all the way through the first portion of Wednesday. On the screen right now is our updated heavy rainfall and flood threat forecast. So as you can see here, we are expecting anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rainfall from southwestern Illinois, parts of southern, central Illinois, up in the far northeastern Illinois, 1 to 4 inches of rainfall. Locally, we could see a couple of locations come in over 5 inches of rainfall. And as you can see, that is going to cause some flooding concerns, localized to scattered to widespread flooding here across portions of the state. We're also going to be dealing with the risk for severe thunderstorms across portions of the state, and that is going to be across southern Illinois. So pretty much from now through late this evening or early tonight, we're going to have a severe thunderstorm threat, an isolated to widely scattered severe thunderstorm threat across southern Illinois. And if we do see those severe thunderstorms occur, damaging winds will be a threat, as well as the potential for a few tornadoes as well. And then we're going to be dealing with some gusty winds as well. Wind gusts of 30 to 45 miles per hour from far northeastern down in the east central southern Illinois. Wind gusts 30 to 45 miles per hour from late this afternoon through overnight tonight and into Wednesday morning. Could see locally higher wind gusts over 45 miles per hour as well. And checking in here, wondering about the rainfall. Many areas are already starting to see that rainfall. If I pull the radar back up here once again, give me 1 second. As you can see here, we already are seeing rainfall across a large portion of the state. So if you're not seeing the rain yet, and if you're expecting to see the rainfall, just give it a little bit of time here. It'll be moving in very shortly if it hasn't already done so. But you can see a large portion of the state is already seeing that rain here. And there is some banding of some heavier rainfall here in some areas as well. And this is all going to slowly translate off towards the northeast here as we move through the day today, through the night tonight, and into the first portion of Wednesday as well. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and wrap things up here for this morning. We will monitor the situation with these tropical remnants through the day today, into tonight, and into the first part of Wednesday as well. We will bring you additional updates as needed. But for now, everyone have a great rest of your Tuesday, and be on the lookout for the heavy rainfall, the severe weather potential, the gusty winds, the flooding threat that are expected today through the first portion of tomorrow.